This is the AEW Dynamite April 16, 2025 full show results video which takes place at MGM Music Hall Fenway in Boston, Massachusetts. The show started with the Owen Hart Foundation Tournament semifinals match between ROH champion Athena versus TBS champion Mercedes. Action goes to the floor, Mercedes draws her up but Athena throws her inside and Mercedes blasts her with knees and leaves her hanging from the bottom rope by her feet. Mercedes dances over her, goes for Meteora, nobody home, and she tweaks her ankle, and Athena hits her face to the floor. Back inside, Athena gets her up into tombstone position, reversed, Mercedes struggles to get her up but she does, Fallen Goddess reverses back and then Mercedes reverses again for the tombstone codebreaker. Athena back up on the apron behind her, jockeying for position on the apron, the Fallen Goddess gets out and stomps her repeatedly. Waistlock, back elbow blocks, Mercedes gets her up, she slips out, big boot knocks Mercedes down. In the end, Fallen Goddess charges in and Mercedes sidesteps her hard into the barricade. Both women standing atop the barricade and trading right hands. Mercedes lands on her feet, Athena sidesteps the charge, back inside, and Mercedes defeated Athena by pinfall with a victory roll pin. Post-match, Toni Storm appears in the crowd to give Mercedes a nice slow round of applause. Renee Paquette interviews Hangman Adam Page backstage. Before he can get more than a few words in, the Elite roll up and Matt Jackson preemptively forgives him for walking out on them last year and Nick says hey, they kept Swerve from winning the title just like he wanted, right? Matt says they can take care of the Death Riders stuff, all he has to do is win the Owen. Okada hangs back to ask why Hanger's always angry and tells him he should smile more. Page is briefly consternated and walks off. Okada calls him a bitch. He storms back over and Okada begs off.
I have a huge announcement for you. If you are a fan of intense, hard-hitting action scenes that you rarely see on YouTube, then introducing our sponsor, BigScreenAction.com to you, the ultimate destination for extreme action and adrenaline-pumping fight scenes. Check out the Dark Avengers, one of the thrilling clips that you are watching right now on your screen. Big Screen pushes action and drama to the next level. If you are a true high-octane entertainment fan, this is the place where you need to be.
Then we saw a Owen Hart Foundation Tournament quarterfinals match between Hangman Adam Page versus Wildcard entry, and it was Walking Weapon Josh Alexander. Walking Weapon flapjacks him into the apron, charging in for a boot, Hangman ducks, and leaves him hung up on the barricade. Page heads up to the stage, and hits diving lariat off the ramp. Back body drop sends the Walking Weapon to the floor, Hangman goes up top, delivered Orihara Moonsault. Fighting in the apron, Josh hits a big power slam through the ropes into the apron and knocks him to the floor with a suicide crossbody. In the end, Alexander fired up, calling for it, Hanger floats over, Enzwajiri misses, Josh with the ankle lock, upkick blocks, Page grabs him, and defeated Josh Alexander by pinfall with a small package. Post-match, Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher come to the stage to confront Hangman ahead of his semi-final against Fletcher. Callis hops down to ringside, Hangman advances on Kyle and they throw hands. Back body drop puts Page in the ring but he decapitates Kyle with a lariat. Don whispers in Alexander's ear as Fletcher bails to the floor and then Josh attacks Adam from behind and lays him out with a powerbomb. Kyle returns to the ring and hits a brainbuster on Hangman Page. Back from the commercial, the Patriarchy cut a promo and Nick Wayne says there's a hierarchy, and when the father disappears someone needs to. Kip Sabian gets his attention and points out Christian Cage is standing right there. Cage says daddy's home and it's been a hell of a month and reminds Nick that he had something to say to his face. Wayne says that he cashed his contract in the way he did because he couldn't stand Adam Copeland win the title before he did. Christian denies that and says he gave him the month on his own to grow confidence and he has. In fact, he got him something, a spot in New Japan Pro Wrestling's Best of the Super Junior and says he's going to keep him very busy until he leaves for Japan. It starts tomorrow night on Collision when he faces Commander for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship by himself and brings the title home. Because he knows his baby boy would never let his father down, then he slaps Nick and walks off. Then we saw a match between Gates of Agony versus the Hurt Syndicate for the AEW World Tag Team Championship, and the result of this match was the Hurt Syndicate defeated Gates of Agony by pinfall with a spear from Bobby Lashley on Bishop Cowan, retaining the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Post-match, Maxwell Jacob Friedman makes his entrance and gets on the mic with the Hurt Syndicate still in the ring. Friedman gives it up for them and tells the crowd to shut up and says he brings a lot to the table. MVP tries to keep the peace and Max begs off saying he didn't say a name. He's not just talking about himself when he says he brings talent with him, and he's got talent in the back that's just dying. MVP tells him to get to it. The Almighty is getting pissed off and he loves him, but he needs to stop wasting time. Friedman calls for it and 7 attractive women dressed in black come down the stage and get into the ring. They tell Shelton and Bobby off and MJF says he can have a night with them, all he needs is 3 thumbs up. Benjamin says this is all real nice but he needs a little more time. Max asks what he means and Shelton says he's a fan of very, very nice things, and he thinks he needs a little more time. He taps where he'd wear a watch, and MJF asks if he's saying he wants the watch off his wrist, and Shelton says that's exactly what he means. Friedman says he'll give him the watch for the thumbs up. Benjamin makes a show of putting his fist out and slowly the thumb starts turning up. Bobby Lashley gives him a look and the thumb turns down. MJF freaks out and stops himself short and says he loves democracy and the power of voting and he even respects the people. He thinks he's growing on Shelton, and as a token of his appreciation, he's gonna give him the watch anyway, and as a matter of fact, he can have the women for the night, too, and there'll be more where that's coming from once he gets the thumbs up. He turns to Bob and says he's the Almighty and that's great, but he's known for getting what he wants. Lashley makes a show of not being able to hear him and Max drops his catchphrase. Bobby stares into the distance and MVP tries to calm him down and Shelton shows off his new watch. Back from the commercial, the Hurt Syndicate take a moment to talk among themselves and MVP says Bob is having a personal reaction but this is a business question, and business-wise they can use MJF to get what they want, so just ease up, and the moment he gets out of line, they'll hurt him. But now can they please relax and have a good time? Lashley relents and they walk off with their distaff companions for the night. Then we saw a Owen Hart Foundation semifinals match between Konosuke Takeshita versus Will Osprey, and the result of this match was Will Osprey defeated Konosuke Takeshita when Takeshita countered Hidden Blade to a backslide for 2, knee for 2, off the ropes, lariat countered into underhooks, and then Osprey hits Stormbreaker to gets the pinfall. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Death Riders versus the Ops for the AEW World Trios Championship. Hook was injured, so Powerhouse Hobbs replaced him and joins the Ops. We see Moxley brings a chair in and Willow Nightingale is here to disarm him. The match breaks down into everybody do something cool territory and Joe lays Moxley out with a lariat and both men are down. The Young Bucks make their way down the ramp, but Swerve Strickland comes through the crowd to neutralize them, taking them both out with one Swerve stomp as Prince Nana dances. In the end, Schaffer hits Hobbs with a chair and Willow clobbers her with a lariat, then Moxley goes over to Joe and draws him up, underhooks, reversed, and attempted coquina clutch, and John Moxley fade out, and the result of this match was the Ops and Powerhouse Will Hobbs won the match by referee stoppage to become the new AEW World Trios Champions. Joe puts Hobbs' title on him and he and Shibata raise Powerhouse's hands. Will Osprey comes to the ring with a bottle of champagne. The locker room empties for the Death Riders getting taken down a peg, and the show goes off the air. How much you would rate this week's Dynamite show? Tell me in the comments please, and thanks for watching the video.